ඔබ ළඟ රැඳි නම
සනසුම දෙන නම
එය සිංහ නම
මිහිර මවන නම
අවස නිවන නම
සෙනෙහ බෙදන නම
එය සිංහ නම මුල් පවුලට සතුට සදන සිංහ අති විශිෂ්ට විශ්වාසය
That's it.
සතුට බෙදන නම
ඔබ ළඟ රැඳි නම
සනසුම දෙන නම
එය සිංහ නම
මිහිර මවන නම
අවස නිවන නම
සෙනෙහ බෙදන නම
එය සිංහ නම මුල් පවුලට සතුට සදන සිංහ අති විශිෂ්ට විශ්වාසය
A very good evening. We are live from the Havelock Park for the Clash of the Champions in the Singers Schools Rugby League 2018, where the 2017 League champions Royal College face the 2017 knockout champions St. Joseph's College. This fierce fought-out Schools Rugby League is sponsored for the 26th year by Singer Sri Lanka PLC, the country's leading sports promoter. We are live from Havelock Park, where the weather looks really good. It's 32 degrees with a chance of thunder showers later on in the day, and the crowd is going absolutely crazy at this second 15 match, which is a high-intensity second 15 match which is going on behind us. And if this is anything to go by, the first 15 game is going to be an absolute cracker. A very good evening to all our viewers joining us from around the globe on ThePapare.com, on Dialogue TV Channel 1 and My TV. Joining me today about this to talk about this game, the pre-game analysis is going to be done by two very esteemed gentlemen from both schools, St. Joseph's and Royal. I have on my left Dinuk De Silva Vijayaratna, who was the vice captain of the 1999 Joe's team. Coincidentally, the last team to beat Royal. Dinuk, we'll get to that in a moment. And Abdullah Yusuf joining me, also a third-year colorsman when he captained Royal in 1995. Abdullah, it's going to be a very big game for Royal as well. Let's get into the niceties first, just to discuss what happened in the last few years. The tally in the last 10 years has been Royal have won pretty much everything, Abdullah. We've had St. Joseph's who've come close in the last 3 years. And Dinuk, the last time they actually beat Royal College was in 1999. Talk us through that game a little.
Yes, well, it was way back in 99 and 19 years ago, so I think it's high time that we kind of win today. Well, from what we remember, it was overcast conditions, and then game was very fiercely competed, and then it was a good experience. It was a good beating Royal.
And I'm sure it will be a good beating Royal, and let's see whether you get another one to talk about after today's game is over. But Abdullah, in the recent past, we've had St. Joseph's catching up, a draw in a couple of years ago in 2016, and then very few points in it. Are Royal sensing the threat from this Joseph's team?
Most definitely, Shanak. I think St. Joseph's have been very impressive throughout the season. Especially their win up in Pallakele was a real eye-opener for the rest of the rugby fraternity as well. I thought they played very well down there. And after that, I think they beat St. Anthony's down in Colombo very comprehensively. So they are definitely title contenders, and everyone is building this game up to be one as such. But on the other hand, Royal too have been playing some excellent rugby. You have to say that they have really expanded their game this season. The forwards and the three quarters seem to be combining well. So I think it will be a very good game between two very well-rounded teams who have got good attacking threats, both in the forwards as well as the backs.
Well, let's look at the tallies that we have in score for us on your screens right now, and let's talk about the last year's game as well. A really impressive game where Royal actually went in all guns blazing. Joes fought back late in the game, just not enough, and in the end it was 28 points to 22 in favor of Royal College. It might have been a bit of a downer for you, Dinuk.
Yes, Shana, what happened last year was that was the first game of the season, and on our part we hadn't got our combinations right. We had to make a few changes a little halfway down the season. So I think that was the main reason. I mean, we kind of peaked towards the latter part of the season.
And going by the tally that we have in the last 10 years, 9-0 pretty much. But that must be something that hurts you?
Absolutely, Shanaka, but of course you have to give it to Royal. They have been very professional in their approach now. Even today you see their junior rugby is doing fantastically well. So that is where we aim to be. I mean, we can't get there in one day, but we are working on it.
Consistency has been the name of the game for Royal, as you see the tallies, and from last year's game as well. They've always managed to come back. Mental strength has been a focus of this team in the last few years, hasn't it?
Yes, Shanika. I think also, as Deepak also mentioned, I think it comes from junior rugby. The fact that we, at under 18 level, we have such high-intensity games like the Sumiti Arachi Trophy that we play for. So the boys are exposed to playing at a high level of pressure at a young age. So then the transition from under 18 to first 15 isn't that great. And that could be one reason that could be attributed to that. And also, once you start developing that winning habit, it just keeps on cascading as you go up. So that could be a reason, but you now find a lot of new schools like St. Joseph's also slowly building up their rugby, which is great for Sri Lankan rugby on the whole.
Absolutely, and the winning habit is what Royal have cultivated for a while now, and we can see that when we look at the highlight reel of last year's game. 28 points to 22, Royal coming back and making sure that St. Joseph's didn't get the number on them late on in that game. So have a look at that one. "28 points to 22, that's pretty much how that game finished, but for a while you would have thought you were winning that, Dinuk.
Yes, I think we started a little too late. If we were always feeling if we had 5 more minutes, we would have got there. But it was a little too late.
But there were quite a few players in this team from that team as well, so they would take that experience well.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So now I think, Nilufer was also first year with us last year, so it was his first game. So I think now they have identified the people, the boys, and then I think we should do well this year.
And Royal have almost completely transformed tactically as a team, Abdullah. And will they take anything from last year as well?
Yes, well, transformed in the sense, yet they do depend on that forward dominance. They yet try and win the battle up front as much as possible, but this time around they're a bit more willing to try and spread the ball out wide, and more importantly they have the material to do so. Guys like Danin Dilshan, Tuleb Hassan, and even the 2 wing 3/4, including skipper Feroz, they've all got a lot of gas in them, so that has helped the cause as well, and that has actually reflected in the scorelines in most of the matches which they have played. Yeah.
Well, it's been billed as Royals forwards versus St. Joseph's backs. Is that how it's going to turn out to be? Perhaps not, because Royals backs have given us a lot to talk about this season as well. We'll be back after the break.
සතුට බෙදන නම
ඔබ ළඟ රැඳි නම
සැනසුම දෙන නම
එය සිංහ නම
මිහිර මවන නම
අවස නිවන නම
සෙනෙහ බෙදන නම
එය සිංහ නම මුළු පවුලට සතුට සදන සිංහ අත විශිෂ්ට විශ්වාසය
සතුට බෙදන නම
ඔබ ළඟ රැඳි නම
සැනසුම දෙන නම
එය සිංහ නම
මිහිර මවන නම
අවස නිවන නම
සෙනෙහ බෙදන නම
එය සිංහ නම මුළු පවුලට සතුට සදන සිංහ අත විශිෂ්ට විශ්වාසය
Technique, tactics, attack, defense, pattern. Back to the board, the rugby analysis.
welcome back to our pre-game analysis here at the St. Joseph's College versus Royal College game, a clash of the champions in the Singer Schools Rugby League 2018. Discussing the game with me, I have Dinuk De Silva Vijayaratna, former Josephian vice captain, and former Royal captain Abdullah Yusuf also, and they're both very tense, as is the crowd. The second 15 match is going on behind us, and that's been really fiercely contested. And I think the first 15 match is going to give us everything we want for as a spectacle in this Singer Schools Rugby League 2018, a much awaited clash. But let's look at how the two teams have performed so far. We have Royal College and St. Joseph's College sitting pretty at the top of this particular division of Division 1A. We have both teams on 18 points at the moment, 3 bonus points each from the games they have played. So all the teams have played 3 games each going into this weekend, going into this particular clash. So 18 points in total and 3 bonus points each. Royal have scored a few more points. They've scored 24 more points for themselves, but also they have conceded much less, and that's something that Coach Nilufar Ibrahim will be hoping that his Josephian team put right today. It's been a very interesting season. Let's talk first to Abdullah. It's been a very interesting season for Royal, Abdullah, because it's moved away from that forwards dominated style, and you've got your back scoring tries as well. Janidu scoring, Sabit Feroz scoring, some outstanding skill based tries against Royal as well. So are we seeing the dawn of a new era?
Well, probably time will tell, Shanaka, but there's definitely been a shift in the mindset of how Royal wants to play this year. I think it was getting to a stage where teams were probably identifying how Royal were going to approach games, and they were planning for such. So there was a need to try and expand our horizons, as it were. And I think you could kind of sense it when watching the under-18 games last season. They had some good quality backs coming through the system. And also with the experienced guys like Dilshan, Hassan, as well as keeper Sabit Feroz also there, just everything seems to have clicked together this year. So all in all, I think they've become a much more all-round team this year.
Yes, people have asked me a lot about this Royal team, and one word that comes to mind is complete when you're describing them. But they've also got the ability to go back into that tight game if they need it. And against this Josephian side, this season they've shown that they can change their game from half to half, Abdullah. That's really mature, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. It's interesting because in all 3 matches they have played basically this year, the first half has been relatively close, but in the second half they've just run away with the game. So I'm sure that that will be tested this year, and everyone is just talking only in terms of the points scored. But an interesting fact is Royal hasn't conceded a single point in any of the 3 games in the second half. So that just shows the level of domination, not just in terms of attack, but in terms of controlling position as well. But I think against a quality opposition like St. Joseph's today, that record will definitely be tested.
You think defense is something that they'll have to focus on, or would have focused on during this training week?
Well, I don't know specifically defense, because the defense has been relatively solid. But it will be more tested this week, I think, compared to the previous games.
Yeah, it certainly will be. Coach Dushant Luke will be hoping for a stellar performance. And is it difficult that it comes so early in the season? It's not even halfway through that a title decider, potential title decider, comes so early, or is it a blessing?
Well, in terms of Royal, traditionally they have got better as the season progresses, because in the years gone by it was always aimed towards the Bradby, and the Bradby was always the last fixture. So it was always a gradual progression where you peak towards that. But I think this year in particular, I don't think it's been an issue, because they have won all the games very, very comfortably. Even that first game against a very good Kingswood team, they won relatively comfortably. So I don't think it will be an issue, and I think Royal's ambitions are very much the league title. So I'm sure they will be up for today's game.
They certainly have looked like they'll be up for it. You can see the results on your screen at the moment. Royal College winning 29 points to 3 against Kingswood. And that Kingswood team are a good team. They've already beaten Trinity as well. We had Royal then annihilating St. Anthony's 55 points to 13. And they seem to like that scoreline, because that's exactly what they did to St. Thomas's as well, 55 points to 0. And it's not just the scoreline in that game, it was the quality of the tries they scored, even without their best player on the park. That was something that was really dominant about that performance. So that's what we have to say about 2018's Royal performance. But what has been really taking a lot of neutral people by storm is the fact that St. Joseph's have performed as well as they have in the season, Dinuk. But that's not something that you're surprised about, because this is something you've been working towards for a few years.
Yeah, Shanaka, we've been building this team for the past 3 to 4 years. So I mean, this is kind of the climax of the build up to that process. So yeah, it's not a surprise for us because the boys and the coaching staff has done a lot of work together and they've done well.
And there's quite a bit of experience in this side as well, isn't there? Guys like Gamunu Chethe have been playing for a long time.
Yes, Gamunu, then Tarindu at the forwards, he's been leading from the front with Gregory as well. So there's a lot of experience as well, yes.
And how did this progress start, Dinuk? Was it just a decision that you made that you need to invest in Joe's Rugby and start that winning culture? What's the final hurdle that you need to cross?
Yeah, basically, Shanak, if you look at our history, we've been always either 5, 6 or 8 in the league. So what we thought was we need to, go the next mile. So it was always an average attempt previously. But what the new committee came and said was we are going to go all out and try and do this and create the winning culture. And with the winning culture came the junior rugby and the processes came in. So it's a gradual process.
And looking at the second 15 game, really taking that fight to Royal College, this must be heartening.
Yeah, it's very good to see the juniors doing well.
And we have the results from St. Joseph's over the course of this season as well. They beat St. Thomas's in probably one of the better games St. Thomas's has played, 33 points to 10. And then we had St. Joseph's beating Trinity in what was a close encounter, 32 points to 25. And in the third week, they beat St. Anthony's by 50 points to 24. So you got a half century of points, just like Royal have done, Dinuk. But it seems that you all are improving game by game.
Yeah, definitely we've been improving from the start. But what our concern is actually the defense. I think we need to work a lot on the defense. Points scored against us, as you can see, is a little too high. Attack, our players are naturally flared, and if you take people like Gamunu Chethe or Kavindu, they are naturally attacking players. So you don't need to teach them to attack. But defense is something that we really need to work on today.
Yes, and that defense will sorely be tested today with Royal's classy backline. Let's talk about some of those players now. Some key players in this matchup that we're expecting in the clash of the champions between Royal and St. Joseph's. What could be a game that decides the title? Who are some of the players that may decide it? Sabit Feroz, the captain, kind of an unassuming captain, somebody that nobody was really talking about last year, but he's been doing his job on the wing, suddenly asked to do it in the centres against St. Thomas's, and bang, what a find.
Yes, he's also an experienced campaigner and, as you said, a very unassuming captain. One reason possibly could be the fact that he's out on the wing, so he's not always in the middle of the action, but he's got a wonderful turn of speed, and you can sometimes underestimate him because he doesn't look that athletic, strong kind of a winger, but he's very, very quick, and he's he's done some excellent finishing for all this year. And I'm sure the Josephians also have some 2 good wingers, so he will be tested both offensively and defensively today.
And we're looking at Malisha Madhuvan in the forwards as well, another very experienced player, the vice captain of the team. He's more of a leadership player more than anything else. He's not a flair player, but Janit Dilshan, he's a man that we can expect a lot from.
Yes, most definitely, and I think everyone is looking forward to that clash with Gamunu Chethe at the number 13 position. He's been really good for Royal. Even last year, there were certain situations I remember when they had to depend on him to even clear their lines, and he took that upon himself and did it very well. So he's also a very good all-round player. But just coming to that, if I may, Shanika, that clash between Janindu and Gamunu, I think it's going to be a fascinating battle because these 2 guys have a lot of quality in them and can definitely go on and do a lot of good for Sri Lankan rugby in the future. And also everyone keeps talking about their attacking prowess, but in defense they're extremely solid as well. And your number 13 in any team, you want them to be a very, very good defender, which both of them are.
Yes, so that's going to be a fascinating clash. Gamunu Chethe, of course, who captained the Sri Lanka under-18 team. And that's a big plus for him as well because he knows that he's got the experience against international opposition as well. So he's going to be our main man today, isn't he?
Well, yes, our entire backline is actually quite experienced, but Gamunu will play a leading role, and I assume that he will lead them from the front.
We've got Dulanjana Piyatissa, who's a relatively new player to you. He's been the player who's been creating a lot of opportunities from the back. Dinuk, you're going to be looking for that. And John Ganegoda and also Tarindu Dialvis in the forwards.
Tarindu and John have been the silent operators. I think they've done a fantastic job for us. If there is a weakness at all to say forwards were a little bit weak, but I think Tarindu, John and Gregory, they've really stepped up and they have shown us that it's not weak at all there.
Yes, I think a lot of people may be just underestimating the Josephian forwards a little bit. They really took the fight to a big forward pack, which was St. Thomas's early on, and Tarindudi Alvis's line speed. That's going to be a key today. His clash with Malisha Madhuvaman also is going to be a very interesting battle. Let's look at the team cards of the 23 players or 25 players that will be doing battle on the pitch for us. Let's not forget that this is a clash of the champions that we're expecting, and these are the boys who are expected to take this home. We have the Singer League knockout champions from 2017. We have Tiraka Santush, Sonal Damien, Siobhan Gregory, Nimesh Kavinda, Ishara Prasad, Shehan Iranda, Vihanga Pereira, Tarindudi Alvis, Rashan Gunawardhan, another experienced man. And we're looking also at the Royal team card now. Indora Bimsara, Himanta Hirushan, who has been outstanding this season, Sasita Siat, Fadil Adahan, who has been great in the line-out. Radish Vijayaratna moves to the second row. Ifam Farid, Malisha Madhuvaman and Risit Fernando. Nikhil De Silva is a very vocal scrum half. Lehan Gunaratna, Sabit Feroz the captain. Tulaib Hassan and Janit Dilshan, those two massive midfielders. Yasit Rashmika and Dulan Gunawardhan are bringing up the last line of defense for Royal. And as I was saying about the Josephs, we have Tantush, Damien, Gregory, Kavinda, Prasad, Eranda, Pereira, Tarindudi Alvis, Rashan Gunawardhana, Samisha Viranga, Keshan Kavinda, who scored a couple of brilliant tries both against St. Thomas's and Trinity, Shan Akila, Gamunu Chetia, Tarindu Madhuranga and Dulanjana Piatish. So Madhuranga coming into this side, he will add a little bit of spice to it as well.
Yeah, he's one of the best finishers we've seen. He's been with us for a year. He just had to qualify his O-levels and come. I think he's looking forward for this game, and so are we.
Yes, we're all definitely looking forward to this game. So it's going to be a really interesting battle. The Papare bands are already starting out. St. Joseph's and Royal College. Sorry, we'll go into the Josephian team card at the moment as we appropriately hear the Saints go marching in, sung by the crowds. Here's Tiraka Santush, Sonal Damien, Siobhan Gregory, brother of Stefan Gregory, who has been doing exactly what his brother did. We have Nimesh Kavinda and Ishara Prasad, Shehan Iranda, Vihanga Pereira and Tarindudi Alvis, who have been outstanding in the third row. Take nothing away from them. A lot of people are talking about other packs, but this Josephian third row is something to be remembered. And Rashan Gunawardhana, who's a kicking scrum half as well. Samisha Viranga pairs off with him. They're an experienced half-back pair. We have Keshan Kavinda, who scores some outstanding tries on the left wing. Shan Akila and Gamunu Chethi are pairing up in midfield. Tarindu Madhuranga and Dulanjana Piatis are the danger man at fullback. So those are the boys who will be doing it for the Saints, who hope to go marching in and marching out as well. We'll be back with a lot more when the live coverage begins on thepapare.com. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
සතුට බෙදන නම
ඔබ ළඟ රැඳි නම
සැනසුම දෙන නම
එය සිංහ නම
මිහිර මවන නම
පවස නිවන නම
සෙනෙහ බෙදන නම
එය සිංහ නම මුළු පවුලට සතුට සදන සිංහ අත විශිෂ්ට විශ්වාසය
අද බෙදන නම
ඔබ ළඟ රැඳි නම
සැනසුම දෙන නම
එය සිංහ නම
මිහිර මවන නම
අවස නිවන නම
සෙනෙහ බෙදන නම
එය සිංහ නම මුළු පවුලට සතුට සදන සිංහ අති විශිෂ්ට විශ්වාසය
Technique, tactics, attack, defense, pattern. Back to the board, the rugby analysis.
Very good evening. Welcome to ThePapare.com. Thank you very much, Shanaka. We'll see you in the commentary box soon. It's nice and sunny here at the Havelock Park. The crowd is gathering in, and it's a chocolate block. It's full. It's packed here at Havelock Park. It's the clash of the champions. What else? What else you're looking at? St. Joseph's College taking on Royal College. The game of the season, of course, in one Division A. Not in Division B, of course, we have teams like St. Peter's and Isipatana having their clashes on. But when we take up this group, it's St. Joseph's and Royal that will decide who will end on top. As you can see, the crowd is nice and slowly building up here at Havelock Park. The Joes Rugby crowd, of course, have traveled in their numbers. They're following this team throughout the season so far. And both teams have just warmed up. Here's the Joseph's team. The front row, Tiraka Santosh, Sonal Damien and Chevon Gregory. The heavy front row of St. Joseph's. Then we have the second row, Nimesh Kavind and Ishara Pereira. Followed by the flankers, Shehan Kalniagoda, Vihanga Pereira and Tarundu Diyalvis will be very key as it was previewed before. Rashan Gunawardhan and Samisha Viranga in the halves combination for St. Joseph's College. And then we have the centers today, Shan Akila and Gamunu Cheti. This is where the game will be won or lost. The two experienced center combination have scored many tries. Kavinda Keshan, Tarindu Maduranga and Dulanjana Piatisa, who's been a star this season for St. Joseph's, and St. Joseph's will welcome Tarindu Maduranga. And joining me on the commentary box is now Shanak Amar Singh and Abdullah Yusuf. Good evening, gentlemen.
Thanks very much, Dinuk. Great to be here, and in anticipation of this excellent clash, looking at the Royal College team, we have Sasita Siat, Himanta Hirushan, who has been outstanding, Induvara Ilukpitia, and that's a big, heavy front row, but very mobile as well. Fadil Adahan at 6'2", he's going to be a real key in the line out. 5'11", Radesh Vijayaratna moves in from the number 8 position as well, and he's a big boy, will take some stopping as well. That's a big second row and front row unit for Royal College. And these are the men that will need a bit of stopping. Malisha Madhuveman, look for him in the number 7 jersey. Ifam Farid and Risit Kavanjana, all big boys who will carry that ball hard but also make telling hits. Scrum half Nikhil De Silva, very, very vocal scrum half. He'll be getting that forward pack going. Lehan Gunaratna is a gentleman who plays pretty much the first half and gives way later on. Let's see whether he can bring that kicking game to good use in the first half. And this is where Royal are really strong. Combination to rival, I think, the Jayasundara Kalawarachi combination from many years ago. Tuleib Hassan and Janidi Dilshan, outstanding players, both of them. And look at the heights and the weights. Dinuk, that's really telling. Sabit Feroz, the captain, look for him to scorch down the touchlines. Dulan Gunawardena has been safe as houses, and Yasais Rashmaker has scored some outstanding tries this season, not to mention that try against St. Thomas's where he went 60 meters. So he'll be looking for a few more of those today.
Yeah, definitely. As you said, that center combination of Tuleb Hassan is rock solid in that number 12. Running lines are so good. And then you have how strong he is ball carrying. And then we have Danundu Dilshan who will just look for gaps on the outside, try and create space for Sabit Feroz and the other wing three quarters to run around. So that's what has surprised all the other teams this season. And Royal College have come out all guns blazing so far.
They're away from the fortress of the Royal College Sports Complex, Abdullah. Will that affect this team at all?
Well, it's always an advantage playing at your home grounds, but nonetheless, I think this team is experienced enough and it's got adequate quality to adjust to conditions. I don't see that as being as too much of an issue, but I think Royal will just try and look to start a bit better than they have. Probably try and get a relatively comfortable lead as far as possible, and there's a key player for Royal, Medhuan, the vice captain. As we have a look, and we can see the Josephian team running onto the ground. Supporters seem to have outnumbered Royal today, and you can understand that because the team has been doing really well so far, and I'm sure the Royalists also will be knowing that they will definitely have a game on their hands.
Well, why shouldn't they be here in their numbers, Dinuk? It's 46 times they've played, and only a couple of times have St. Joseph's done the number over their arch rivals, both in the 90s, mind you. So it's a long way away. Dinka Peris will have a lot on his plate today. Shahid Jifri and HP Veranga will be his assistants. And he's a man who likes to stop the game. He's quite an officious referee sometimes, and that may play into the hands of a good forward pack. But at the same time, a little bit of advantage might mean that this St. Joseph's College team managed to find a little bit of space.
Yeah, they are deadly, isn't it? If you give space to Piatis and the likes of Gamuna Chaitya for them, and they look very dangerous. But yes, as you said, there is no reason why this St. Joseph's crowd should be here today, because this make or break situation for them against Royal, if they take, this is the best chance that we can bring up. Here's the number 12 that we spoke of so highly, is Tuleb Hassan. He'll have his work cut out, and as well as the St. Joseph's.
Yes, I'm really impressed at how Tuleb Hassan has come along since last year. He was a pretty one-dimensional player last year. He just used to crash the ball up, but he seems to be putting people into space today, and that was in the number 15 jersey, Dulandana Piatis from St. Joseph's, who is an absolute game breaker from the back. So Royal will be a little wary when they kick. They hadn't had to kick so far in this season too much. So it'll be interesting how the tactics will be, whether the coaches have changed very much for this game. Both teams have hardly been tested, and to kick the game off is Samisha Viranga from St. Joseph's, taken first by the skipper Sabit Feroz, still going, breaks 3 tackles.
Last foot.
Hirushan protects his scrum half, Nikhil, who puts the box kick in, so that's an early indication of what they're going to do. Dulanjana Piatis now, he's a man who steps off his left foot. Here's some space, and it's the first try coming in for St. Joseph's. They've broken the back of the resistance, and just as we talked about the kicking game, Dulanjana Piatis' counter-attack has decimated this Royal defense early doors.
What a start for Harsha Madurang on the wing. First touch of the ball, he goes past the try line. As we just spoke how crucial that kicking game will be, this is where the danger lies, Abdullah.
Yeah, most definitely. If they had any doubts about the back three potency of this Josephian team, that has just proved it. So Royal will now need to just tighten things up a bit. That was a relatively okay kick by Yasid, but I think the chase was just not good enough. They didn't have the numbers, and I think the better option may have been to go to touch. But nonetheless, Josephians striking first, so Royal will definitely need to take note of the threat that this back three is going to pose.
Well, that's an interesting try for more reasons than one. It's interesting because it came in the first minute of play, but also it puts a little bit of the devil as we look at the kick. Nicely taken by Samisha Viranga, who started the game off. So his second kick is a conversion, so he'd be happy about that. But what it also does, lovely try from Maduranga there. Lovely draw and pass from Dulanjana Piatis, and didn't try to do too much, just straightened the line on his left foot. He saw Lehan Gunaratne in front of him, fancied his chances, and goes over Hassan Maduranga for that try. So his first game, his first touch of the ball, his O-level results were what he was waiting on all this time. And you can see that he's probably a better rugby player than a multiple choice question.
But not a good start at all for Royal. They've given away off that restart once again. Put this kick out on the full. A second opportunity for St. Joseph's. This is where St. Joseph's needs to capitalize early on. The first 15 minutes, as much as points they can score, they should score and then start defending. Royal will expose things later on. They've been a very good second half side, isn't it?
Yes, they can't afford to relax. So if Royal fans are thinking, oh goodness, what has happened, you've got to remember that your side is a side that comes back in the 35th minute. But a crucial error there, Abdullah, because you know teams are vulnerable after they score. They needed to go back into that game.
Yes, just one or two errors earlier on in the game. We spoke, I think, to the pre-game show about the importance of Royal getting off to a good start. But I think it's the Josephs who have got off the blocks well, and Royal will need to just tighten things up a bit.
On the outside, they pushed into touch this time off that scrum. Had the option both ways. St. Joseph's wanted to go on the far side. They saw Ganidu Dilshan and Yasas Rashmika on the right. And they had that extra number on the left side, on the right side rather, but couldn't capitalize. Good defensive effort by Royal to put them into touch.
Yes, I think that Rasha and Gunawardena panicked a little bit there because he saw big Janidu in front of him. But again, it's the danger of that spin pass, isn't it, Dinuk? Because those 8-9 moves, you've got to have quick hands, and sometimes adjusting the ball to spin it is something that takes valuable seconds away. First line out of the game, beautifully done by Royal at the back. No pressure coming from St. Joseph's, and Janidu's kick slices off the side of his boot. It bounces, nobody really wants it. And Maduranga looked like he was a man who was trying to get in amongst the Royal defense, but Royal have rescued it. And this is some space now available for Royal. Lovely run through the middle. Rasha and Gunawardena drags down the big man. And here's Royal with their tails up now. They need to strike back, and they know they need to strike back quickly. Bust up the middle from Sasita Siat. Pick and go, and St. Joseph's flirting with that last foot there. Hirushan looks up, sizes it up. Doesn't get past the gain line. But that's a lovely run from Royal that time. Looks like it was Vijay Ratna. Long rucks from Royal, forcing the Josephian defense as far back as they can from the ball carrier. Here's Gunawardena. Sabit Feroz cutting back inside. Does well to keep the ball alive, and here's some space. Rescued by St. Joseph's that time. Turned over. That's beautiful work from Royal. This is where they're so good. Siat. And now Nikhil Gunawardena looks for Lehan Gunaratna. Gunaratna to Tuleib Hassan. Lovely ball back in field. Viranga makes the tackle. And the referee's got his arm out for a penalty for Royal College, and that's the first chance of points for Royal. How will they take it? This will give us a measure of their intent.
Yeah, that's much better by Royal. It's all starts, Shanak, when they start playing a bit more at close quarters. I was a bit surprised. Maybe they could have gone for a rolling maul just to settle things down. They decided to go wide. Fortunately, that miscued kick by Janidu didn't prove costly. But from that situation, Royal slowly but surely managed to get onto the front foot and drawing that error from St. Joseph. So I think that's the template which Royal will look to follow throughout this half, and they'll try and kick on from here. And it's a bit of a crucial error by Royal. They needed to find touch. I think the ball has gone over the dead ball line, so these little errors are costing Royal in the early part of the game.
Unlikely, isn't it, Shanaka, how they started off, and then this last 2 to 3 minutes, we saw what Royal is capable of. That's where they do hits. They just run through the game with faces after faces, just keep on. That's what they have been doing throughout the Singer Schools League so far. And that's an
charged down, beautifully charged down by the number 6 for Royal, Risit Fernando. Massive error by Josephs, and now they might have just allowed Royal in under the post, but that defense was good. This game has hotted up, and it's the first few minutes still. Gunawardena does well, rolls into the tackle. And here's Vijay Ratna. All 90 kilo units. Flying up was Gregory. Made an important hit, just stopped Hirushan in his tracks. Nikhil gives way to his forwards. They've decided that this is the way that they want to take it towards the line, and why not? Here's Risith Fernando again. This big front five of Royal taken quickly, or not taken at all, from Malisha Madhumevan, so referee will call them back.
Number 20, hands on the ground.
It's a good reaction from Royal, Abdullah, in the sense they've realized, okay, this back three is going to be dangerous. We'll just take the ball into our control.
Yeah, that's right. As we have a look at that charge down once again, and Royal just unable to capitalize on that. But yes, as you said, Shanaka, I think if they needed a bit of a kick up the backside, they definitely got it in that first few minutes. They seemed to have just focused and just try to narrow their game a bit more. You probably sense they were trying to go wide a bit too early. So Royal with an opportunity to get the first points on the board. Dulan had a brilliant outing against the Thomians in that second half, slotting all the conversions over. And I'm sure they will all be looking forward to him having brought his kicking boots today.
Be interesting if our producers can show us that charge down one more time. Looked very much like the charge was made inside the 22, so the defending players can't encroach inside the 22. Be interesting if we can see that replay again as Dulan Gunawardena puts the first points on the board for Royal. It's 7 points to 3, and this game looks like it's going to be one for the ages. Dulan Gunawardena, the little fullback, capitalizing on the Josephian error and squeezing it in at the right hand upright.
Yeah, penalties are crucial, isn't it? We know that Royal have 3 kickers in their team, and they can slot in between in any range. Janindra Dilshan takes the long range kicks as Samisha Viranga restarts once again goes deep inside the 22 of Royal, and this time they'll kick back into touch. Not the same mistake that they did, kicking it straight into Piyati Sasan. Royal looks settled now, Shannon.
Yes, they look like they've got their confidence back. They look rattled for a few moments, and to their credit, Dinuk, it was just for a few moments, and they realized what they had to do. They realized where the Josephian threat lay, and they controlled that game very quickly, and they've come back with points from the 22. That's the important part.
Yeah, that's where the side is so experienced, isn't it? If you take from 1 to 15, you have almost about 12 players who played for Royal last year, so they know exactly what to do in situations like that. No need to panic.
Well, that was completely overthrown, and everybody stopped and watched the ball bouncing around because it was such a comic error. But now we've got play starting again. Malisha Madhumevan with a lovely pass out to Hirushan. Prop with a few stepping skills. Royal keeping it close, trying to earn their right to go wide. You can see that they're attacking the short side here. That's obviously a plan. Nikhil. Good tackle bust from Big Adahan there, or Vijay Ratna rather. This is good from Royal there, breaking the gain line, gaining 3-4 meters every time. This will sap the energy of this Josephian pack. Lehan Gunaratna leaves it behind. And it looks like there might be a card here. Referee Dinka Piris blew an ominous whistle. And that looked like it was certainly very high. Yes. There can be no question about a yellow card there. Just remains to be seen who the player is.
It's Tulaib Hassan, the 12 for Royal, and this opposite number, and the skipper Samisha Viranga. If he's going to cop one early in this game, it will be a big blow for St. Joseph's. If he gets away with a warning, he'll be lucky.
Fliction, nothing goes up again. Clear?
Well, he'll be very lucky. Well, he stays on the field, and that could be crucial in the final analysis. A key defender, and 10 minutes without him would have done Royal a world of good, and that looked like it was a fairly blatant high shot.
Here's that replay, Shanaka. once again, straight on his neck. That was just a swinging arm, isn't it?
Jose, here.
Well, I think Tuleb Hassan, all credit to the man, is such a tough guy. He didn't seem like it hit him too hard. So I think the referee may have, if he stayed down and milked it a little bit, he might have been able to do something, which is really unfortunate because that's what forces players into doing that sort of thing.
Yeah, Tuleb is not that kind of a player, isn't it? He's very strong, the way he plays the game and also the way he continues to play. First uncharacteristic mistake of Royal College, throwing that line out straight.
Yes, but it was uncontested, and that's something that referees need to start acknowledging. Because if the other team doesn't contest it, the contest for possession is fair. It's not like he threw it to the scrum half. He threw it in kind of straight. And if the other team opts not to go up and contest that ball, then you've got to allow these things to go a little bit.
And material impact is what the referees have been taught these days. If you take the 7th circuit, we have Craig Juba who manages them, and so much into material impact. Here's once again an opportunity for St. Joseph's.
Kavinder stepping. That's what he's good at. It's our drone coverage. And into touch fairly safely by Samisha Viranga, who is lucky to find himself still on the pitch. But a good change of direction from Lehan Gunaratne there. That was what forced that high tackle as well, Abdullah.
Yeah, that's right. And both Tuleb and Danindu, they can pose a big threat to defensive teams, as we know. And also the angles they come in. If you are wrong-footed by any chance, unless you got your shoulder in place, you're just tempted to just put that swinging arm in desperation. And Royal, unfortunately, from that penalty, unable to capitalize from that crooked throw, but they've got another great opportunity.
It's a Hornet disguised as a Tusker, but this is what we expected Royal to do early on. Tarinder Alvis saying that he came through the middle, but referee Dinka not buying it. Nikhil with a little bit of a kick. He knew that he had the advantage play. And they'll come back for the
Number 20 coming from side.
penalty.
Number 20,
So
yes.
Nikhil just tried a bit of a cheeky kick there. But straight in from the side from Tarinder Alvis.
Yeah, much better from Royal. I think this is what they need to do. Just go back to their roots, as it were. Just try and sap that energy off this Josephian team. I'm sure they've been really psyched up for this team, for this game. And if Royal can just try and get a bit of scores under their belt, that will just negate this enthusiasm and the passion that the Josephians have come up with. It was the ideal start for them, but Royal slowly and surely getting their foothold on this game.
Great opportunity for Royal College here. Through Himanta Hirushan. Going to the number 6 there, trying to set up a maul once again. They saw the opportunity that was presented to them in the maul before. And here's Royal College once again going forward. This is what they're known for ages in the Sri Lankan Singers Schools Rugby League. Royal still keep going as St. Joseph's are breaking up at the back. Very close to the try line now, Royal College. And brought down eventually by the Josephians, trying to pick and drive through there. Royal College once again. Ball is available, says the referee. Now the ball comes out wide to Janindu Dilshan. Dilshan trying to step away, but a brilliant tackle there by the Josephians, pushing him almost into touch. Here they come back. Royal now have to start all over again. Picking and driving through once again. Inch by inch the Royalists work. Moving on the outside, trying to use the short side. Now the Royalists. That's Radisha Vijayaratne taking the ball into contact now, very close to the try line.
Number 7 offside. Offside, number 7.
Once again, St. Joseph's trying to come up fast in defense. Now Royal spin this ball out wide. Here's Tuleb Hassan, twisting and turning, drops the ball at the back. Janindra Dilshan claims it, but he drops it forward. There's a penalty coming up for Royal College. So very slow progress, Shanaka, by Royal. But they know this will win the matches. Quickly taken by Sabit Feroz, but the referee denies.
Well, it's all happening here.
Number 7.
Royal College battering away at that line. Forward after forward, throwing themselves at that blue and white wall. And you can see what that effect is having on the Josephian pack. You can see them already with their hands on their hips, with their hands on their knees, sucking in the big breaths. And that's going to have a telling effect in the latter half of this game. So the penalty is coming. And this is where it came, with St. Joseph's not being able to stay behind the last foot.
Yes, I think, as you said, Shanaka, it will probably take its toll during that latter half. But I think Royal also are executing the plans extremely well. The way they're doing the pick and goes, they're doing it at pace. They're not waiting and setting and going. So it's very hard for the defense to realign. And I think, as you said, just looking at the cameras, looking at the pitches, the Josephians just seem to be out on their feet.
That was an illegal contest in the air. Referee Pires just letting it go. That was Fadil Adahan, who was absolutely manhandled while he was off his feet. And Royal will see no reason to change what they did a few minutes ago. Nikhil De Silva organizing his troops, taken by Siat there. Siat inches towards the line. Here's Vijayaratna. Fernando almost making it towards the line. It's oh so close. St. Joseph's have to be really careful, and that's the first try of the game. Beautifully snuck in there. And once again, it's that man, Himanta Hirushan, who is a very underrated player. And that low center of gravity that he's got, and most of his 90 kilos is below his hips, which means that his leg drive is so strong. And Hirushan just going as low as you can possibly go, and no chance of him being stopped.
Well, that few minutes by the effort by the Royal pack would have definitely taken its toll on St. Joseph's. Shanaka, you could see them on their holding their knees. They were taking the big breaths in, and I think Royal now have slowly got their foothold on this game. And it's just important that they just keep on applying the pressure. If they can just get another try or two in this first half, and how they've been playing in the second half, I think they can really control this game from this point onwards.
Playing the way typical the Royalist way. That's how they've been playing in the Single Schools League for about 2 to 3 years now. They tried to kick early on in the game, went against them, and now they've settled in. The kick is good. A touchline conversion once again. 2 points are so crucial in the game of rugby.
Very crucial. 8 points to 7 is not as comfortable as 10 points to 7, Dinuk. Dulan Gunawardena, and we'll show you that replay in a moment. Dulan knocking that one over easy as you like. Had plenty of practice in match conditions against St. Thomas's, something like 6 or 7 tries that Royal scored in that second half, and he knocked them all over. Taken easily that time by Gunawardena again. Nikhil calling for his forwards to come and protect his box kick. Eranda just getting back on side. And this is the box kick that caused a bit of trouble earlier on. And here's Dulanjana Piyathissa now. Puts the kick in, gets impeded. Referee says no problems. Gunawardena now with the break. Gunawardena ghosting away. Good tackle on him by Rasha and Gunawardena. Beautiful little burst through from Dulan, the fullback. Now Royal in the St. Joseph's 40-meter line once again.
Back.
Good clear out. St. Joseph's not committing now. And here's Siobhan Gregory trying to bring down the try scorer. Does so that time. Nikhil De Silva. Good tackle, good low tackle that time from Keshan Kavinda. De Silva to Rishit Fernando. That's a long ball, and flying up in defense was Tarindu de Alves. And here's the ball now for Janithu Dilshan. Runs straight into his opposite, who stops him in his tracks. Janithu's probably got to make sure he gets other people free here. Royal still holding on to the ball, phase after phase. This is mature rugby from the Royalists.
Release first.
Referee Dinka Piris ruling that that Royal player held on just long enough. Ifam Farid takes the ball to ground, and Royal are patient as ever. St. Joseph's wait. They know what's coming, but they still got to stop it. Tulay Basan
Release it.
smashed to the ground. And still the penalty that Josephs desperately want is not coming.
Back.
Hirushan now trying to get his team out of trouble. They got the ball on the back foot there a little bit, Royal. But now they've recovered. Nice pass, a short ball to Sasita Siat. Here's Janithu Dilshan, now got a man outside him. That's a good pass. Here's a step inside from Rashmika. Rashmika puts the ball down, does Nikhil De Silva. Referee deems that it wasn't a knock on.
Release. Tackle. Release.
And here's Madhubevan crashing his way towards the line. Royals forwards need to be careful to stay on their feet here. They've got their tails up, the blue and gold Tuskers. And although they've lost the ball there, hacked forward now from St. Joseph's. Keshan Kavinda knows that he has to make this tackle. Does so brilliantly. And once again, Royals clean out is excellent. Nikhil De Silva now trying to recover from that 40-meter loss of ground.
Tackle. Release.
Excellent technique once again from Royal.
Release.
Their breakdown has been flawless so far. And as soon as I say that, Radesh Videratna goes off his feet. And St. Joseph's aptly rewarded for some really tireless play.
Number 1.
Coaches Ferretti on the right and the head coach Dishant Luke and the backs coach Mohammed Sharif look on. You're not going to get anything, not going to get them giving anything away.
Yes, some fantastic defense by St. Joseph's. They showed good patience there, Shanaka. They didn't try and overcommit at the breakdown. Felt Royal just took the wrong option at the wrong time. They had the Josephians under the pump. Maybe not the correct choice to go out wide. Maybe a few more hits would have definitely asked more questions of the Josephian defense around the fringes. But nonetheless, good work by Josephs, and they're back in Royal's half.
Yeah, what good was there was the line speed that St. Joseph showed, and then they made the tackles coming up fast. So once again,
excellent work from Royal. Once again, they were doing that the entire second half against St. Thomas's. Their defensive line out has been outstanding. Yamunu Chetia now. Here's Julanjana Piatissa. Piatissa ghosting through that gap as well. Such a burst of speed over the first 10 meters. Piatissa, Rush and Gunawardana needs to get there. The ball seemed to be like it was still in the ruck. And the referee Dinka Piris has
Number
that
6.
pinged coming in from the side, he said. And Piatissa shakes his head as he goes back. Thinks he should have given the ball away. But you can see how dangerous he is.
yeah, he's just wanted to give that ball initially, then saw that slight gap in between the wing and the center of Royal College, went through that, and then Tuleb Hassan coming from this side. That's what was Dinka Piri's call. He has a great opportunity, a brilliant platform for the St. Joseph's backs to run on.
Well, they are going to the right,
Sama.
which
Come
means
up.
that the passing may
I'm
not
on
be
this
as
side.
fluent. And their
Right,
most
coach.
dangerous
Fine.
finisher is on the left. So let's see what St. Joseph's do here. Rashan Gunawardana needs to make sure this scrum ends well. Tarindu de Alves off the back. Gunawardana now coming back left. Lovely little step. What an outstanding left-footed lateral step that was. And now here's some space for Piatissa. Keshan Kavinda, will he be stopped? Yes, he will. Dragged down 10 meters short of the line. Rashain Gunawardena does brilliantly. Siobhan Gregory, great hands from St. Joseph's. Real good close quarter play here. Just short of the line. Wonderful layback from Tiraka Santush there. And for the first time, Royal under real pressure on their line, and what a beautiful turnover that was. Outstanding work from the Royalist forward there. And Janidu Dilshan gratefully thumps that ball into touch. What superb defense from the Royal front rower.
It was once again Himantha Hirushan. He's been a star so far in this game. There you go. He's on screen now, the number 2 for Royal College. Right, that solid base right on top of that player, and just came throughout with the ball. Brilliant stuff.
When you have a number 2 who can get on while on the back foot, stay on his feet and turn the ball over, you know you've got something special, because Royal were all off their feet. But as we have a look again at that, just seizing the moment really. Slightly isolated, didn't need a second invitation, and off he went.
Back live now with the Royal winning that line out, trying to get themselves out of relative trouble. Big bust up the middle by Indura. And here's a box kick from Nikhil De Silva. Might have been just outside his 22. So he'll have to come all the way back and give St. Joseph's an opportunity once again. But if St. Joseph's manage to get a score here, whether it be 3 points, 5 or 7, it'll give them something to reward that defense. Here's Nilufer Ibrahim. Looks like he needs to make a change a little earlier than he had wanted.
Yeah, he needs because he needs to see how good he can use those 10 players on the bench, because they're already down. The St. Joseph's trying to defend these Royal forwards, so he needs to make the changes at the right time, bringing that fresh legs. Maybe 2 by 2 throughout till the 70th minute. He'll be happy that the game is played only 70 minutes these days for this particular game.
You just sense that St. Joseph's need to get some points on the board soon. They've just been under the pump so long. If Royal just get one more score, it can have a telling effect on Royal on the rest of the game.
Knock forward there, St. Joseph. This great opportunity that they had, as Abdullah said. One more thing, Shanak, off that St. Joseph's attack that we saw before Himantha Hirushan turned over that ball, is the skill level of these players, the passes that the forwards made, and the ball that they placed the ball after a tackle, just over the top of the head, sideways. It doesn't matter where they fall on after a tackle now. They have managed to do that effectively.
Yes, really good work, but I really like what Dushant Leuke has done with this defensive line out. He's just keeping his big man Adahan at number 2, and wherever St. Joseph's throw it, he's going to put him up, and that puts immense pressure on the hooker, and you can see how St. Joseph's have sacrificed about 3 lineouts now, trying to go and do something fancy and not being able to do it. So when you attack the line out, that's where St. Joseph's will find real trouble. So they'll be hoping for a lot more scrums and a few stoppages in this game. But for Royal, they know they've got some real dominance at that line out time.
Not much difference in that front row, just about 2 kilos separating both teams, as Royal feed into the scrum outside the 22. This time it's been a pick at the back of the scrum, running straight into Samisha Viranga.
That was a good run by Rishit Fernando. Made about 10 meters and broke the first line of defense as well, and haven't really seen that from number 8s recently. Here's Madhumewan looking for his skipper Sabit Feroz, breaks the tackle, lovely pass as well. Madhumewan, Josh Cronfeld like in his support there. Nikhil De Silva, here's Hirushan, dragged down in the end, but not before he did some damage. Sorry, that was Radesh Vijayaratne in the number 5 jersey. Nikhil De Silva now waits and thinks about giving it out. Met by a wall of Josephian defense there. But again, they're changing their point of contact, trying to get their big men free on the short side. De Silva. Good run again from Vijayaratne.
Stay on feet.
And again the penalty coming. Off your feet, says referee Dinka Peris. And I think the Joes defense can count themselves a little unlucky that they haven't had more penalties than they have had so far.
Very interesting call there made by the Josephian skipper, going for a scrum. maybe the reason that their lineouts are not functioning well.
Royal hooker.
That's why they've called for a scrum, but it's a very gutsy call to call a scrum for a penalty in the halfway mark.
But I don't think they have an option, to be fair to them, Dinuk, because we've had
Break.
change. We've had Pereira coming off. Vihanga Pereira that was, and we've had
Number one bleeding.
Sachin Pereira, is it, going back on? Or we'll tell you in a moment exactly what that change was. But I think what they're trying to do is bolster their line out, because they know that they can't afford not to kick penalties and not kick penalties into touch. So that's a real problem. Number one coming off is Tiraka Santosh. Looks like he's off for the game.
Right, coach. Point.
And John Ganegoda, player that we spoke of, is on for Sonal Damien. And you can see what difference that made to the Josephian pack. And referee calling a wheel. Didn't see that wheeling more than 90 degrees.
I can play advantage for falling down.
Yes, it's interesting that the Josephian coaching staff are making so many replacements earlier on, Shanaka. It's very much in the first half. You probably have thought that at least hang on till about 10 minutes going to that second half, knowing how strong Royal are in that second period. But let's just wait and see what kind of impact that will have on the game.
But I think depth is something that the Josephians can boast of. So they're using it early. And given the way this Royal team have been running at them, why not? Kavinda. Here's Chaitya. Beautiful run from him. Oh, that's a Madhuranga. Beg your pardon. Here's Rashan Gunawardhan. The first time that Josephs have had the ball. Viranga puts it up and left behind by Sabit Feroz. Still playing. Referee will come back for that knock on though. An interesting ploy there. I thought St. Joseph's might try to run it in the hands of their deadly backs, but chose to put it up in there and put Sabit under some pressure.
I didn't have the right numbers on the right side there. Samisha Viranga, he had already Shan Akil and Gamana Chaitya committed on this side. So he didn't have an option there. Had Dulanjana Piyatisado. Luckily for him, we have got another scrum just outside the 22. We have about 4 minutes on our clock to finish this first half. It's a 35-minute game in the Singer School season this time.
Well, let's see what Royal come out with in 4 minutes time. They may make a change at fly half. And if that opens the game out, we'll wait and see. That has been their plan so far. That's a big scrum by Royal, really big scrum. And even though they haven't got the ball back, that was a moral victory for the Royalists there.
Time.
Yes, we're already seeing the kind of dominance Royal is slowly imposing on this Josephian pack, Shanaka. A couple of replacements too have been made, so you don't probably have your first choice front row, maybe the tight five in there, and the Royal just seem to be capitalizing on this. So the Josephs just need to be a bit careful, because in the second half, those kind of changes, we don't have any more further changes to make. It can be very dangerous against this Royal outfit.
Just goes to show how much of a physical game rugby is and remains. Here's Kavinda. Beautiful collection there from, looked like it was forward, but didn't bother Madhuranga, who just took that in gymnastic fashion. Looked like he might have come out of the Commonwealth Games team there. And the little kick put through. That's an interesting ploy. But Dulan Gunawardhan read that beautifully. And inside his 22, puts it into the safety of touch, knowing that he's got the line out. Rashan Gunawardhan needed to try and take that quickly if he could. But now St. Joseph's. Here's the ball going backwards off Dulanjana Piyatis's hand. And I don't think Janidu Dilshan can be faulted on that occasion. Looked like it just was incidental contact there.
That's half time, 10 points to 7. Royal leading at the end of the first half. Just 3 points the difference, Shanaka, in this first half.
What a half of rugby it's been from this Singer Schools Rugby League 2018. The Clash of the Champions, we're calling it today, because it's the knockout champions from last year versus the league champions from last year as well. This could well be the title decider of this 2018 season. We have St. Peter's on the other side also looking to try and make a contribution to that title race. But this could be it. Don't go anywhere on ThePapare.com. The highlights are coming up in just a few moments, but it's been half of highlights.
Other than that, it was always flowing.
If you need to talk about much, it's not much there. 10 points to 7. Royal College leading. Just nothing much in this game so far. We're just waiting for the highlights package to come. And just about a try and a penalty for Royal and a try for St. Joseph's.
It's been a half that St. Joseph's have desperately had to defend, and they've had to defend some really well-constructed Royal attack as well. And when I say well-constructed, I mean that technically it's been very sound. Their body positions have been low and the hits have been hard. Here's the first try. Dulanjana Piyathitsa stepping off his left foot. Lehan Gunaratna's inside shoulder was attacked, and Madhuranga, with his first touch of the ball game in a Josephian colours, manages to get a try. Outstanding work from Piyathitsa.
Yeah, didn't get much ball after that, Madhuranga, to run like that. It was that only initial bust through Piyathitsa that got the try. And this is what we were talking of, Shanaka.
Yes, and that was well inside when Risit Fernando charged down that kick. He was well inside the 22. He'd started running early. Big miss from Dinka Paris there. And that 3 points can go right down to that error.
Yeah, not much to talk about. This is the high tackle against Hamisha Viranga. Lucky escape there for him.
Well, evening the scores out there, Dinka Paris, by making sure that Samisha Viranga stayed on the field, because that was a miss as well. I thought that was definitely a yellow card. There was nothing in it. It was a high shot. It was a swinging arm. And Samisha Viranga is lucky not to see 10 minutes on the chair.
Himanta Hirushan scoring that try for Royal College. And then the kick was good too as well, but this was another opportunity, but Roshan Gunawardena making sure that he doesn't go past him.
Yes, that was good work from Rashmika to cut back inside, but I thought Janindra should probably have given him the ball first time, straightened it up a little bit and given it out to him. I think he might have been in at the corner with that kind of pace, Rashmika. But we have everything to play for in this second 35 minutes, and Josephs have gone to their bench early. Will those changes make a difference? Was this something they were planning? Will Royal go to their bench as well? Will their number 10 jersey change hands? Lots to talk about when we come back for the next 35 minutes of this Clash of the Champions. You're live on thepapare.com. You're live on Channel 1 Dialogue TV, and you're also on my TV. We'll be back in just a moment.
සතුට බෙදන නම
ඔබ ළඟ රැඳි නම
සැනසුම දෙන නම
එය සිංහ නම
මිහිර මවන නම
පවස නිවන නම
සෙනෙහ බෙදන නම
එය සිංහ නම මුළු පවුලට සතුට සදන සිංහ අති විශිෂ්ට විශ්වාසය.
සතුට බෙදන නම
ඔබ ළඟ රැඳි නම
සැනසුම දෙන නම
එය සිංහ නම
මිහිර මවන නම
පවස නිවන නම
සෙනෙහ බෙදන නම
එය සිංහ නම මුල් පවුලට සතුට සදන සිංහ අති විශිෂ්ට විශ්වාසය
Technique, tactics, attack, defense, pattern. Back to the board, the rugby analysis.
We don't make this stuff up here. You're watching the best researched in-depth analysis on schools rugby 2018. You're on ThePapare.com. Welcome to the breakdown. A very good afternoon and welcome back to the Singer Schools Rugby League 2018 live broadcast from Havelock Park here. It's the clash of the champions and this may just decide who ends up winning this Singer League in 2018. Some outstanding rugby in the first 35 minutes. Most of it was defense except for the first minute from St. Joseph's when they scored that breakaway try. It was all defense from these lads in blue and white. The Hornets gathered around the field are buzzing, but are they buzzing with anticipation or are they buzzing with apprehension? That's something that we will need to settle in this next few moments. And that's the bench that has been used by Royal as well. Sabit Feroz, the skipper, has had a few opportunities. This man has had a few opportunities as well. Shah Nakila from Kalina Nandila also comes in for Lehan Gunaratna in the number 10 position. And Janidul Dilshan, haven't seen a lot from him. Touched the ball a few times as well, but let's see what this second half has in store for us. Rashan Gunawardena has made some telling tackles but hasn't been able to get that back line sparking. We haven't seen that matchup with Gamunu Chetia and Janidul Dilshan that we were talking about in the pre-game analysis. This man has held centre stage, Dinka Piris, and he'll want the two captains also to make sure he doesn't have to do that in the next 35 minutes. In the commentary box with me, Dinuk Bhaskar and Abdullah Yusuf. Abdullah, what would have been said in that huddle for Royal?
Yes, probably you'd see Royal try and play the games on the wider channels a bit more now. I think they have definitely got what they wanted from that first half in terms of really battering that Joseph's pack. And we saw Coach Nilif Ibrahim making substitutions a bit earlier on. So I think Royal will just try and now slowly but surely attack those wider channels in the second half.
Let's see whether that's what they're going to do. Dinuk, it looked like it was pretty much more of the same from the Royal College pack, but Gunawardena has been solid today. Here's Janitha Dilshan, almost brought down, but not quite. Manages to get the pass away to his midfield partner, Tulay Bhasan. St. Joseph's forced to keep on tackling now. They had 34 minutes of that to do. Nikhil De Silva. Here's Adahan.
Release!
Royal so strong over the ball. That technique has been flawless. That's a good counter ruck from St. Joseph's. Just delaying that ball a little bit. Nice little bit of vision from Nikhil De Silva to see the man coming up. Here's Keshan Kavinda now. Gets a chance to run the ball up for the first time in a long while.
Knockback.
And that ball went back, says referee Dinka Piris. Lucky escape there for the Josephians. Rushing Gunawardena now. Here's Piatissa trying to accelerate through that gap, but that time they were ready for him. They've suddenly figured him out. Gregory. And again, the ball on the floor, proving too hot to handle from Russia and Gunawardena. He's saying that he was impeded, but referee was right on the spot.
So I think it was the pressure applied at the breakdown, Shanaka, that enforced that error. Royal just choosing the correct moments, when to stand off, when to apply pressure. As we have a look at that once again, what happens when you have a slow ball coming out and the ball, more importantly, not being placed properly. And I think that's what resulted in that knock-on.
Right, crouch!
Good start there by Royal in the second half. St. Joseph's looking a bit started in the second half, but they need to be solid in the next 30 minutes or so to come. Here's pick up at the back of the scrum once again by Royal.
Richard Fernando taking that forward, getting his team over the gain line. It's all they need, this forward pack. Don't need any other invitation. Here's the man who scored the first try for Royal. Will it be the only try? Probably not the way they're going at the moment. And here's Dilshan. Dilshan managing to get past the first line of defense. Gives a wraparound pass to Sabit Feroz. Good counter ruck by Jose that time.
Back last foot.
Madhumevan making the call for the 22-meter tactic. That is to go close, short and safe. Nikhil De Silva calls his forwards in to do the grunt work. They've been doing that without any complaints so far. The dust coming up here, and this doesn't look great on the field, but I can tell you when you're close to the ground and you're breathing in that dust, it certainly doesn't help either team, attack or defense. Tulay Bhasan. Good counter ruck there again from the Josephians, but well dealt with by the Royalists as well. You can see the technique that Abdullah was talking about. The ball so neatly placed back for the scrum half or the following up player. 4 meters short of the line here, Royal. This is how they scored their first try. This is the man who did it, Hirushan. He's about 3 meters short from where he was last time, but again, Janitha De Silva followed. Really good defense that time from the Josephians, pumping their legs. But again, the ball very much with Royal. Blindside they go. Again, Hirushan makes the telling break. And that's the second try for Royal. Brilliantly done from the Royal College team. Hirushan, he's the man who made the break. Don't think it was him who scored the try. But once again, instrumental.
Yeah, patience, and so much structure in that, the way they do it. Look at this. This is about the 15th or 16th face that we have taken that close to the try line. Janinder Dilshan coming and making an impact on the outside. Then finally, just on that white line, the score was made. So much patience and experience this team has. And it's looked like it's Bhimsara Induvara who scored that try for Royal College.
Yes, so we're just 5 minutes into this second half, and Royal already getting their first score, just like they have done on so many occasions, just scoring immediately after the break. And more than that try, Shanak and Dinuk, that defensive effort is going to take a lot out of St. Joseph's, and that's exactly what Royal wanted. And the fact that Josephs don't have anything to show for that, I'm sure will definitely dent their confidence. Conversion going astray. Nonetheless, Royal accrues to a 15 points to 7 lead.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about. If you're going to score early against Royal College and then defend your heart out throughout the next 30 to 40 minutes, have a big lead. Otherwise, this Royal team has that character to come back and crush you little by little throughout the game, and they'll milk that points and then start opening their floodgates in that last 10.
Well, this has been the Royal modus operandi, isn't it? This man's team have played it close in the first half. It's always been close. Against St. Thomas's it was close. Against Kingswood it was close. Against St. Anthony's it was close. And then they just blast themselves away in the second half. So maybe that's what they're planning to do. And just to correct ourselves, Ifham Farid was the try scorer there in Royal colours. The second try scored by Farid. Apologies for getting his name wrong in the first instance. But here it is for Rasha and Gunawardana. Dulanjana Piyathis, and now the man who set up the first try. Here's Madhuranga with the break. Lovely handoff from him. Puts it inside. It's still in the hands from St. Joseph's. Outstanding bit of handling there from the Josephian team. They've realized that they need to get themselves back into this game. And goodness, wasn't Madhuranga doing that beautifully. Referee's got his arm out. Will they need that penalty advantage? Still going. Superb work from Gregory that time, but he's smashed back in the defensive effort.
Not supporting body weight.
And they come back for the penalty. What will they do here, Dinuk? Will they take the 3?
I think they have plenty of time to go for 3 points, settle this game down, because these 3 points exactly, that was the call, can come and haunt them if they don't take at this moment and then not score a try. But if you see the difference there, how settled Royal is, and if you give broken plays, St. Joseph's will take the upper hand. They have the speedsters on the outside, inside support runners, everything works well and looks so good in broken play. When it comes to structural rugby, that's where St. Joseph's is struggling.
Yes, it was a brilliant break from Madhuranga. You watch it here. Hands off beautifully. That was Rashmika who got brushed away. And watch the inside pass. Beautiful hands. Absolutely outstanding hands from the second player. I think it was Chaitya who handled that ball. Samisha Viranga. Easy does it. And that's the 3 points. And as Abdullah was saying, it was really crucial that St. Joseph's score. They hadn't scored a point in 41 minutes, and that's going to really help their confidence.
Time.
Yes, and Royal haven't conceded a point in the second half for almost 105 minutes. So good on Joseph's to strike back immediately. But one thing Royal have to learn is they've already been hurt twice. Rather, the points have come from 2 pretty aimless kicks where the chase hasn't been good enough.
Yes.
And this Josephian back 3 are going to pose a lot of threats. So Royal just need to keep that in mind going forward.
105 minutes just reminds me of Hurricanes. They defended when they won that Super Rugby Cup. Yes, that replay once again, and all that was talking about the defensive effort that will win you championships as well. This is the doctor just clearing Madhuranga, their key player, one of those key players for St. Joseph's, who makes so many telling breaks on the outside.
Well, his head would have to be bouncing off on the touchline while his body is at the 50-meter mark for him to come off today. Madhuranga's been their most incisive player so far. Janidar Dilshan with a lovely contestable kick, brilliantly done by Royal there. But chasing back nicely was Eranda for Josephs, getting up ahead of steam. Royal that time are managing to get past the gain line again. Here's Adahan, who's been outstanding in the line out. Fadil Adahan is such an underrated part of the Josephian pack because he completely prevents other teams from dominating the line out. Holding on, says the referee, and I don't think there can be any arguments with that, but taken quickly by Keshan Kavinder. Rashan Gunawardena now will look for beautiful tackle. Lined it up beautifully. Oh, and that should be another penalty. That should really have been turned over.
You got 10 meters
here picked up and dumped there after the whistle had gone. And beautiful tackle there by Risit Fernando. And watch this here. Dulanjana Piyathissa picked up and dumped, and the referee should certainly
You came to play
have
injured player, then you're giving order to him.
penalty there.
Get out.
Really bad discipline by
Number 15. Number 15.
Ifam Farid.
Trying to take the contest a bit too much.
Right. I saw the tackle very clear. It's very clear.
To Piyathissa.
But I know what happened. I know whether you got injured or not. So it's very clear for me. So you're okay now? Yeah. Right. Fine. Thank you.
Wonder what he's saying.
Make sure nothing goes
Is he
wrong
saying
again.
Don't
right?
get picked up
You
and
can do
dumped,
anything, but after the whistle
after
goes,
the
you can't do
whistle has
anything.
gone?
Please. Clear? I'm starting with a penalty here.
Not
Well, it's consistency anyway. It's consistency because we had the penalty earlier that Sami Shaviranga should really have gone off for, so I guess that gets evened out a little. But now they have the problem of not being able to win the line out, St. Joseph's.
Yeah, maybe that was in the first half that they were a bit didn't want to go for that. Was he in front of that ball and picked up the ball? There was another question to be asked, but nevertheless.
Yes, that is an interesting question. Either way, though, the penalty would come back for foul play. That trumps anything else. It's a good kick, but it doesn't matter if you can't win the line out, especially in front of that Royal College crowd. Here's Sabit Feroz. Piyathis has been in the wars. It's a really crucial line out here.
Number 4.
What will Adahan do?
Royal number 4,
Where will he contest from?
I'm sure Coach Nilufer Ibrahim would have had a chat about this line out. That was quick to the number 2. Will not give much time for the Royal team to react. Nevertheless, they have turned it over once again. But it's a knock forward in the end.
I can see what happened.
So there's so much pressure, Shanaka, in that number 2 jumper that's been put in by Royal, disrupting the St. Joseph's line out and the good ball that their back 3 might get and score off.
Yes, absolutely, Dinuk, but at this level, you've got to be able to win your number 2 ball. You've got to be able to win a quick, hard throw to number 2.
Seconds.
And that's something that every team needs to be able to do, especially if they're going to be title contenders. And Royal are picking that off pretty easily. You can see that the jumper is not aggressive. He's not jumping towards the ball into that channel. So that's something that they can fix. Risit Fernando comes off the back, lucky to get away with a little bit of a juggle there at the back. Good counter-attack, counter-ruck rather from Royal, but here's the man that's been really causing problems. Himantha Hirushan, impossible to bring down because he's so low already. Nikhil.
Pillars.
In front of the
Standing here.
in front of the maul, in front of the last foot, says the referee.
Pillars are
So that's where you protect the box kick of the scrum half, and you're actually in front of where the ball is. So interesting technical call from referee Dinka Pires.
Forward, St. Joseph forwards over to them in the back. Pillars again.
So another opportunity for Joes to bridge this gap. They'll take whatever comes their way. Israel seem to have just started that second half with a flyer, but 2 penalties. If this one goes over, will definitely give the Joes a bit more confidence as we approach the final quarter of this game.
And on the other hand, Abdullah and Shanaka, Royal are not used to scored against in the second half. This is the first time they're tested, and it's going to be crucial how they turn up. And this is where leadership comes into play. A lot of things has to be spoken out to keep that team together. It's now 13 points to 15, 2-point gap This is not what Royal is used to this Singer Schools League season.
Well, 2 minutes away from the 50-minute mark, and it's just 2 points in it. And it's interesting what you say there, Dinuk, because we have St. Joseph's who've been tested against Trinity. They came out of a tight game there, and Royal are still to be tested, as you said. They haven't really had that pressure put on them in the second half. Tarindu De Alvis with a long looping pass that could have caused real problems. Dulanjana Piyatissa to Madhuranga, who has a word before he goes into the contact as well, it looked like. And here's the big Josephian pack with their tails up a little bit this time. Good hands from Tarindu to Gregory. That ball was well picked up by Gamuru Chetia, gets away from one. Does well there, Gamuru Chetia, and here's the pass coming in again. Good take that time by Sachin Pereira, who's on the field off the bench for St. Joseph's. Here's Piyatissa now, puts a little kick in, they've got the pace. Sabit Feroz. Really well done by Dulan Gunawardena to get in and help his skipper out there. And that's a lovely angle from Hassan.
Release it!
Again, really good defense from St. Joseph's. They've managed to turn it over by the looks of things. No, they haven't, not yet. Really good line speed from Parindu, but he misses his man. Nice pass that time to Malusha Madhuvavan. And a referee right on the spot. And I think St. Joseph's may have found the chink in the armor here.
Time!
You can see Tuleb Hassan berating himself for that.
Yes, he needed to link up with his wing Shanaka. There was a definite overlap. He took the ball, did not look outside, looked straight, went right at the man and got himself isolated. As we have a look at that again, had the skipper outside, he needed to give that out, and Sabit had a bit of room to work with but decided to go into contact. And I think it was Gamnu Chete who did brilliantly well at the breakdown to extract that penalty.
Two players on the ground and two big players for Royal College. Sabit Feroz, the skipper, and Tuleb Hassan, the centre.
Well, two players there who just got close but no cigar for St. Joseph's when they were playing. Shamilka Kurumbalapitia. Be hoping that some of these boys who played with him in their first year probably will do well. Sabit Feroz really desperately needed to get that ball, but it would have been a wonderful pass if it was given away. Ovinaski. As we look at the pictures, wonderful slow motion pictures here. You can see straight over the ball goes Keshan Kavinda. Great pictures of the Singer League 2018.
What a kick that was. Straight about 30 to 40 meters on the fly, just on the 22-meter mark.
Right, 9 off.
The next big question, can they get the line out right? Give those backs. They have been wanting for this ball for ages now.
John Gane got to throw in, lots of pressure on him. Adahan, the man in the scrum cap at number 2 there. Make a big difference. They've lost all their line out so far. They've gone to the back and it's well clear. Oh, the referee has not let it go. Oh, dearie me. Sabit Feroz has got to run all the way back. And you can see what he feels about that decision.
What do you want? Scrum or
In
line
fact,
out?
it's Risith Fernando, I'm afraid. He looked like a winger the way he was running there.
My whistle went first.
Very unfortunate for Royal College. Very unfortunate. Here's the replay once again. Ball goes crooked. Straight off, picked up by Risith Silva. There was no one touching it. And referee had already called for a crooked throw.
Well, interesting one. Really interesting one. How will that weigh on the minds of the players and the referee?
Right, coach.
Going to be really interesting.
Royal need to be a bit careful here how they approach from the situation. Are they going to keep possession or do they decide to kick the ball away? The last time they did that, or the last couple of times they did that, they paid a heavy price from that the back three of this Josephian team. So they need to ensure that they either keep position, and if the kick is done, that it's very accurate.
Well, that's a good kick. Was it taken back into the 22? It was bounced just short. And here's a man they can't afford to lose, Asita Siat. Been putting in the hard yards.
Not something we used to see this Royal team. They're very fit on the park. With 3-4 players breaking down today.
Prop forward.
Just bounces inside, touch. Good camera work by our ThePapare group.
Well, that's
Time.
those are the inches that games are won and lost by, isn't it? John Ganegoda will need to do a lot better. They've gone to number 2, they've failed. They've gone to number 6, they've failed. I can't stress how important Adahan is to this Royal team. To be able to out-jump the attacking jumper is just such a wonderful skill.
I gave the mark here, you can't go there. So I gave you a mark. So time off? Yeah, time off. Can you take the mark I gave? This one.
St. Joseph's taking their time, knowing that this is a facet of their game which...
How can you take this mark and go there?
Just trying to get a little bit more space between themselves and this
Wait.
marauding Royal team. That was... referee once again not allowing the game to go.
Time on!
Saying time off. So the one line out that St. Joseph's won doesn't count. Again, that's well crooked. That time he lets it go though. Lovely hit. Tuleb Hassan read that like a book. But here's a little bit of space. Gamanu Chetia is someone we haven't seen yet. Rashan Gunawardena. Good hands from the Josephians, but no space. Sabit Feroz closed that down really well. Janidu Dilshan went in after it and forced a penalty. Beautiful bit of defensive work from Janidu. Abdullah was talking about in the pre-game that we talk about his attacking play, but his defensive play is as solid.
That's right. We saw Janidu forcing a turnover, and we saw Gamunu doing that previously as well. Just the all-round skills of these players just is fantastic, and I think as we spoke again, Shanaka, going forward from a national perspective, I think these young boys can add a lot to the national setup.
Number 8.
It's just that their all-round skills are so very, very good.
Wait.
Yes,
Captain!
look for them to be fast-tracked into the 7th game. First up as well, Dilshan and Chetia will be welcome additions.
Captain.
Royal have lost
මම
just
කියන එක
one of
මේගොල්ලන්
their
තේරෙන්නේ නැහැ.
lineouts.
මේගොල්ලන් ලෝ එක දන්නේ නැහැ. මම
So
මාක්
little
එකක් දුන්නොත්
fault
ඒ
of
මාක්
their
එකේ
own.
ඉන්න ඕනේ. ඒගොල්ලන්ට ඕන මාක්ස් ගන්න බෑ මෙතන. Clear?
Seems to be a lot of chat about this line out, and who can blame the Josephians? So we look out and see the rain clouds coming, but this match may well be done by the time the rain clouds come. Adahan, a beautiful international style win. That was Sachin ThePapare who needed to go back, and he did so quickly.
Use it!
Rehan Eranda. Now Irushan comes away with it. That was better defense from the Josephians.
White back.
Royal now through their new halfback, Mubin Falil. Oh, that's a nice break. Just can't get past. Chetia's defense has been impeccable today.
Release!
Play on, says the referee. The ball seemed like it was loose. Gamunu Chetia is desperate to have the ball in his hand now. Isolated now. Needs to scream for the ball. Nice little show and go from Samisha Viranga. Royal doing really
Back,
well
back.
to slow that ball down, and Rasha Gunawardena now puts the kick high and comes back with it. One of the smallest men on the field somehow manages to
10 meters.
get that ball back.
Wait.
Front of the kickers is referee Dinka Piris.
Went straight up, and
Number 3.
players are supposed to retire.
If you
But
kick up, I want the 10
They
meter
were put
radar.
onside by Rasha Gunawardena, so
Okay, clear?
I don't see what that call was. Haven't seen that call made in a long time. Another very technical penalty. The ball went straight up, and Gunawardena the kicker put the players onside immediately. So that 10-meter rule is well.
It's Royal deciding to go for the points. I think correct option. It just shows how well the Josephian team have hung in this second half. Look, with that early score, that Royal could possibly run away with this game, but they have held on, and I don't think Royal have helped their cause much either by just making the crucial mistakes when the pressure is on. The kick has gone astray, so the score remains as 15 points to 13, and Royal, in hindsight, may have been better off going to touch Shanaka, because Josephians seem to have been fatiguing a bit at that collision area, but hindsight is a wonderful thing, isn't it?
That's what we were talking about, Abdullah, is that these decisions have not been made so far in this season for Royal. This is the first time they've been really tested in the second half, and that ball bounces off
Crossing the line.
touch and a penalty this time.
Well, they've been told the rule at half-time, I'm sure, by somebody in the know, because Royal did it right again. If you can see that replay, we can show you exactly what we mean. You cannot charge the ball inside the 22. You've got to stay outside the 22 until it clears out. So he got away with it in the first half, conceded 3 points, and second time, no luck. Here's Gamunu Chetia for the first time that we've seen him really breaking the field. Rasha Gunawardena. Ulanjana Piatissa at first receiver. Opts to put the kick in. And knocked on that time by St. Joseph's, but a good chase and just putting the pressure on.
They've seen something at that Royal back three, isn't it? They're putting those kicks from the start of the second half. But there's some good high ball takers. Here's the single school replay once again.
White number 30 out.
Putting that ball
White number 30.
in the air, but
White the neck out. White
the
the neck out.
replacement there, Mohin Falil rather, who has come in for Royal College, was contesting, but the initial back three of Dulan Gunawardena, Yashish Rashmik and Sabit Feroz have been very good under the high ball, but once these replacements have been made, they've started to put the kicks behind.
Yeah, that's right. And also the difference between when Royal kicks and the Josephian kicks, the Josephian chase is very much better. So they're applying much more pressure on the Royal back three. Royal is just making the kicks and watching and waiting what is going to happen and letting this Josephian back three run at them. But whenever Joseph's kick, they make kick into space, and even if it goes into the player's hands, it's got a lot of height on it. And the chase, as I said, is very, very accurate.
Will the weather gods see on Royal? It's cloudy, gloomy around Havelock Park. The rain will come down and the Royal forwards will start playing their game. Will that be how the game is written? Upstairs, we don't know. 15 points to 13, just 2 points the difference. 60 minutes on the clock, last 10 to go.
Well, I'm sure there have been a fair amount of prayers by the Josephian fans for the rain to stay away.
Release!
Royal taking it off the back of Risita Fernando, who has been Risit Fernando, who has been superb today as well. Some of these Royal forwards have really outdone themselves.
Side.
And it's been turned over straight in at the side, says the referee, and Royal will get a penalty, which they opt to run. Not really sure that was the right way to do it. Not 10 meters, so they'll get An opportunity for touch again. This is probably
Hey.
what they should have done a little earlier on.
Back.
Mubin Falil, that unmistakable walk
Mark here,
of
Buddha.
the Falil
Buddha.
family. Brother Mushin plays for the Navy. And that's a good enough kick. It's not spectacular, but it's more than enough for all to grind away for the next few minutes to try and keep St. Joseph's in their half. Keshan Kavinder, so dangerous from broken field.
10 penalties to 8. St. Joseph's have conceded that extra 2, or any penalty that is considered against Royal is going to be very dangerous.
Imesh Disanayaga comes on in place of Kavinder, who didn't really get an opportunity. Created a few turnovers though. And St. Joseph's, if they contested that, might have stood a little bit of a chance.
20 more.
Well, unlucky penalty there. Although the advantage is coming, I thought the man was bound from the time he joined. But here's a maul still going. Referee Dinka Pires
You got one penalty here, one penalty there. What's the penalty you want?
blows.
This one. You coming from side. You.
Scrum half, whether he'd like the penalty 10 meters further back or 10 meters further forward.
Side.
And Khalil is smarter than all of us.
Not all. You can't never outsmart a scrum half, isn't it? They're too smart. They'll teach the referee if they can. And this is what we were talking about. Kicking to touch. Abdullah, you're happy now.
Yes, when Royal are under a bit of pressure, I think this is where they go to just try and get a bit of control and parity back into their game. Great opportunity now for Royal. Oh, but what a wonderful drive-by, counter drive by the Josephian pack, forcing Royal to collapse that rolling maul, and now they have to go back to the pick and go. Josephian forwards have thrown everything at this Royal pack in terms of defense.
No, fine. Back.
Well, it was the first real botched line out from Royal, because that one was thrown a little bit on the outside shoulder of Adahan. And as a result of that, they couldn't really set that front pod of the maul, which is so important. Sabit Feroz getting into the ear of the referee, telling him what the time is. This is probably the make or break moment of this game, Dinuk.
Yeah, if they have to score, they have to go coast to coast, almost 100 meters. Very intelligent work in front of that line out, getting that line out right. But referee Dinka Piri is
Tell
not ready
number
for the
4
second
that
time
I'm
in
the
this
referee,
game.
not him. Number 4.
Not sure
I'm
what
the
that was
referee, not
about.
you. Okay, so when I give a mark, you stay on the mark. Clear? Get back.
Well, St. Joseph's won one line out, and
He's on the center, so you get back,
we have
please.
to go all the way back now. Try and win it again.
Not the first time it happened in this game, Shanaka. 2 times they have won line-outs. The referee had to stop it. Now they have to go back to the number 4 and they lose the line-out. Yes, they have.
Absolutely. Adahan, there was no way he was letting that go. What an outstanding line-out forward he is. I don't say this lightly, but I've watched a few line-out forwards, but since Priyantha Ekanayaka and Anuradha Dharmatilaka, this boy is really up there. Malisha Madhumevan looks to try and use the penalty advantage. Here's Hirushan. So deadly from close range. Crowd at the back going absolutely crazy. Is Adahan, he'll get the try he deserves, will he? Not that time. Falil spins it out, and here's a space. Coming back in field was Nandika. Hirushan now over the ball. He'll fancy himself a brace. 6 meters short. Piling over into that was St. Joseph's, and the penalty comes all the way back.
Wait.
Falil trying to beat the referee to the penalty spot.
Atrai.
No way the leaders at Royal will
Coming
net
from
to
side.
take him that penalty to tap and go.
Well, this has to be touch. More drive down the clock.
You take the penalty. Number 21.
It's got to be,
Matthew,
surely.
number 20.
Well, they've got other hand down, which is why they haven't done that
You take the
immediately.
penalty. 1 minute.
they're
take the
waiting on
penalty,
him.
Gandhi.
Oh, they're going to tap and go. Interesting call. Really interesting call, but it's almost through there. Royal have
Offside.
been
Offside.
excellent with this ball, close quarters. Here they go again. Straight through the front.
Offside here. 3 to go.
Mubin Falil
Wait.
screams
Wait.
and points
Time.
at the posts,
Captain, we need to
giving
control.
advice to his
You're
captain,
coming
the fifth-tier
offside
player.
and falling. One
Visit
there, one
Fernando
here, one
drags him
here.
off and says,
So it's
"Shut
going
up,
to be
you're not the
repeated.
captain."
Something
But
goes
looks
wrong
like his
again,
decision
definitely
is
going
the
for a
right
penalty try.
Yes, just need a
Don't
bit of
come
calm
offside.
heads now. It's a tough call, really.
Three to
You've
go.
got Josephine's under the pump. You want to just
3 to go.
get the 3 points, so do you feel that you can go for it? It's always a very, very tough call.
3 to go.
Glad I'm not making it, Shanaka. Okay, so they've decided to go for the 3 points. I can't quite blame them. Game is yet on the line.
Yeah, which I think is a good call. If you take mathematically, if they put this over, it'll be 18 points to 13. Who knows? Joseph's come back and score a corner flag try and not convert. It's still the game
2.5
is
now.
in their hands. But with the line of the way it's operating and the rolling maul, you tend to go for touch.
Be interesting to see what that penalty was for.
ඉසුරු මම කීප
Actually,
එක පොඩ්ඩක් බලන්න දැන්. ඉසුරු මම කීප එක බලන්න.
Dulan Gunawardena won't care because he'll only be thinking about
Don't
the 3
touch.
points. The kick is good, and it's 18 points to 13, which means St. Joseph's are just 1 score away, but it's not a penalty, it's a try. Dulan Gunawardena missed a couple, but he's put over the crucial one, and he's been absolutely outstanding at the back today. Really safe.
Time.
Made some tackles. You can see that all his fans just calming each other down there. And that might just be the game for the Royalists. This Singer Schools League has really hotted up in its 4th week. We have an outstanding match coming up for you tomorrow as well between Isipatana and St. Peter's, 2 unbeaten teams in Division 1B. And we have the Canon RS Tiseram Trophy also up for grabs in Kandy between Trinity and St. Thomas's. And we have also another game in
Time
Kandy,
on.
St. Anthony's
Play.
versus Kingswood. And Wesley playing Zahira in Colombo. Samisha Viranga puts that ball short, but it's not doesn't go the 10 meters. So St. Joseph's might have just lost the game for themselves. What they needed to do was a nice big long kick down, chase it, and hope that makes a difference. Dinesh Kumara, the trainer,
Under 50 boys.
puts his hands to his head.
Kamare.
Nilüfer Ibrahim can only hope for a miracle now in the next 90 seconds.
එකයි 20යි.
Yeah. Royal have to do something silly, very silly to concede this game to St. Joseph's. It's their game to win now.
Seconds in.
Just keep the ball with the forwards will be the call as the showers of blessings just pours on here at
Right,
Havelock
touch.
Park. It started drizzling.
Point. Set.
Well, the rains have stayed off just for as long as we need.
Play.
And that ball coming out of the scrum, rushing Gunawardena. Here's St. Joseph's. Are they going to have the last salvo in this game? It's been a game of ups and downs. Oh, brilliant defense. That's 69th minute stuff from Hirushan once again. What a legend of a player he is. Falil read that beautifully. Manages to stay in the company of his big forwards and settle it down. All Royal need to do is thump this one down the park and attack the line. But they'll keep the ball with them. Adahan out on his feet, but still going.
Vice back. Hindmost foot. 3-5 back.
Doing what worked for them for the first 69 minutes. My goodness, has this Royal pack deserved every accolade they'll get later on tonight. Hirushan has been outstanding and probably will be the player of the game, the man of the match. But Adahan has been superb, as has Rishit Fernando with his work rate. It's coming down. The rains are coming down and the clock is winding down. Royal will know that it doesn't matter that they're losing yards. All they need to do is keep the ball. Referee Dinkapiris quickly raises his hand for a penalty. And Falil, again in that inimitable Falil fashion, he's enthusiastic. Janitha Dilshan being told by Dulan Gunawardhan to tap it and kick it out. And that seems to be the game. Yes, it is the game for Royal College. A relieved Dinkapiris blows full time, because that would have been a very, very difficult game for him to blow. So much close quarter stuff, so much physical play, and you can see the Royal is pouring out, and that's lovely to see. Himantha Hirushan going and shaking hands with the devastated Josephians. They came so close, and just as they have in the last 3 years, it's within one score, but they just haven't been able to get over the line. So unless St. Peter's does themselves a favour, that might just be the league for Royal. And what a good team they have been, and how they responded to that initial score from Maduranga was really mature and really complete, and they deserve this victory.
Yes, they thoroughly deserve, isn't it? And they've been tested. That's the word that you have to use. This game, they've been tested throughout the 70 minutes in defense, in attack, mentally and physically, and they've managed to stand up and show what this team is capable of. It's a champion side, isn't it? This Royal team. We spoke about it pre-season, and they show why they are.
Yes, definitely, Dinuk. And also the fact that if you have the stats, you'd probably see how much Royal control possession. As Josephians, they pretty much were starved in that second half. They didn't have too much possession. And when you're constantly defending, it's very hard to launch attacks unless you get a quick turnover, which Royal didn't do. They're taking the ball into contact. They were very secure. Their placement, just the basics, they just did it extremely well. And hence you find them going out victors, 18 points to 13. But also a word for St. Joseph's. I thought they put everything on the line. But end of the day, I think it was a fair result that Royal came through, because position and territory-wise, they did dominate this game.
Yeah, here's the replay of the initial first half. This was the first try. We all thought St. Joseph's are going to have their match of the century, maybe the match of the decade. But then from there on, Royal just managed and knew if you kick too far, this was a lucky one for Royal College. Dinkapiris managed to rectify that in the second half, but it was a bit too late. Royal have already won that 3 points, which luckily didn't become the difference in the end.
Here's the high hit from Samisha Viranga, lucky to stay on the park there. And here's Hirushan battling his way towards the line was Farid. And then Hirushan picks up, and watch how low he goes over the line here. Barely gets up above the waists of the Josephian players. Outstanding work, and it's a copybook from the same playbook again. That's Farid scoring. Dinkapiris is right on the spot to see that try. And this is where the penalty was awarded. And that was Maduranga bursting through Lovely hands on the inside. Samisha Viranga just not able to link up. But they did get 3 points out of that foray. And in the end, it was Dulan Gunawardena who put the matter just a little bit safe as the lights come on and the rain comes down here at Havelock Park. We witnessed an outstanding game of rugby, and the only thing that will be happy for the rain is this parched ground, which needs to see another game tomorrow.
Yeah, 13 points to 18, the full-time score. 7-10 half-time, just 3 points differentiating both teams. But then Royal have managed to win the second half as well, 8 points to 16. Mantha Hirushana, man of the match. 2 tries for Royal and 1 for St. Joseph's. 1 conversion each and 2 penalties each for Royal and St. Joseph's respectively. But it's not going to be over for Royal College. In 2 weeks the big game comes. Of course they'll walk in as favourites. It's the Singer Bradby that will be coming up on the 21st of April against Trinity College, and that Royal College will walk into that game favourite, but they'll still need to train that 2 weeks, isn't it?
Well, Abdullah doesn't seem to think it's a big game anymore, Dinuk, but we'll bring you all that coverage and a lot more. Join us tomorrow for Isipatana playing St. Peter's, and a lot more from the Singer Schools Rugby League. Trinity take on St. Thomas's tomorrow, St. Anthony's take on Kingswood, St. Peter's take on Isipatana here at the same venue, and Zahira take on Wesley at the Zahira grounds, looking for an important win. Zahira there in that game, and Wesley will be looking to get their second win of the season. Thanks a lot for joining us on Dialogue TV, on My TV, and ThePapare.com. Coming from the Singers Sri Lanka Schools Rugby Football Association League of 2018. We'll be back tomorrow.
සතුට බෙදන නම
ඔබ ළඟ රැඳි නම
සැනසුම දෙන නම
ඒ සිංහ නම
මිහිර මවන නම
පවස නිවන නම
සෙනෙහ බෙදන නම
ඒ සිංහ නම මුළු පවුලට සතුට සදන සිංහ අති විශිෂ්ට විශ්වාසය